Hello, friends. Today we're going to do a review of the La Santa Muerte Lenormand. And I have been looking everywhere for Lenormand decks, and I have finally found a bunch of them. Some I've had in the past, and two of them are new. I'll be reviewing real soon. Is this one here called the Lenormand? I picked this up. I think it was a Tarot Arch or something. It was $20. And then I picked up this one from Etsy from somebody called Denise. It's called the Lenormand of Egypt. And then, of course, I bought this one a long time ago called the Malfique Lenormand. And then we have these two decks I'll do a review for you as well. If you want me to, let me know. If you want to look at the Sibylla Oracle cards and the Gypsy Oracle cards, I'll review those for you. And then this is Lenormand, but this deck here will also review real soon as the Conjure cards. Anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and kick off this review. So it's the La Santa Muerte Lenormand, and the guidebook. So I've already kind of reorganized the cards for us. I have used this deck a few times, but the guidebook is nice because it really goes into detail and gives you the meaning of each card. Also helps you translate the Spanish word for the English if you don't know how to read that, and it just gives you an idea of what that is about. Also, in the back of it, it has two spreads, which I thought was kind of cool. Let me show you here. They have the small cross spread and then the 3x3 spread, which is a box spread 9. And these can be read, past. Well, on the top line, usually that means like what's weighing you down or like what's heavy on the mind. And below is like what's kind of being blocked from this. And the middle is like the theme, so to speak. You can go past, present, past, current, future, past, present, future. And you read the corners. So different ways you can read this box spread, and it really gives you a lot of information. You don't have to do a full tableau unless you want to. If you would like that, let me know and I'll do a little sample reading with these spreads. So what I've been doing too, I have a new series on my website, wordofthetwist.com. Go check it out. And I walk through different decks, pick a spread or two, and we share them because I think it's important to actually use the decks how the authors intended them. Okay, because it allowed you to kind of get into their thoughts. And so when you read with the cards on your own, with your own way of doing it, you have a better understanding. Anyway, this is the guidebook. Very well done. I like the fact of this color. So now we're going to go ahead and just run through the deck here. And one thing about the box is nice is that it's that magnetic box, which I love. And the price of them, in case you're wondering, I paid $24.99. And I think I got it from Red Feather. Not sure, but I bought it a long time ago. Now, the only complaint I have is I had to create a little cradle. As you can see right here, is paper cradle. Because the box on the bottom, you can kind of see that right here, it's glued. And what was happening is the card would get stuck underneath here and they were getting gummy and it would just ruin the cards, right? So rather than having the cards get destroyed, I just created a little paper cradle. Just get a piece of paper. You cut to the exact same dimension of the cards and you are good to go, right? Right? Take it out. Very easy. So that's something you can do so you don't ruin your cards because they were getting a little bit gummy and it was freaking annoyed me. So let's go ahead and just run through this and just see how they look. But if you have the tarot deck that goes with this, it's a really good combination to read with them together. So I'm going to drop the camera down a touch more to get tighter in on these cards. Okay, so first up is we have the Rider. Clover is next. Okay, number 3. See, a little sticky. See that? So it's some of the residue. I'm still trying to get it off. Oh, I should have showed you the back of the cards. Isn't that cool? I love the back of this deck. And also the quality is really nice. So I really like the quality. I like everything about this deck. The ship. The house. Next up, oopsie. The tree. Now, as you all know me by now, if you watch my readings, I use numerology all the time. What the 5 represents here is the 5th house. So if you had like a grand tableau laid out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's say the house ended up in the 1st position, so that would mean that the rider has something to do with the house energy because the house was in the 1st position. So it's like something about the house, some type of movement. Maybe there's a move or something like that. So when you do a grand tableau, you look at the numbers because they also correlate to the house that you're in. It's kind of like zodiac, the 12 different signs have different houses. It's the exact same principle, but with me, I use it a little differently. I see a 5 here, and I say, well, that 5 could be freedom or struggle, depending what cards lay next to it. And I also use this. So since it's a heart, it's a cup, so it's an emotional card, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which means that in order to have that peace, you got to assess things, assess the heart to have the stability with what you want of the tree, right? And with the tree, you have green, which is rooted color wise again back in the earth, and you have yellow vitality, but the orange is kind of a warning. So when you look at the card, I always try to read these cards not just at face value, but also a little bit deeper. And see, here's a cemetery in this card here. So the trees and cemetery could be more like ancestral roots, So again, just keep that in mind. Always look at the imagery and dive into a card. Just don't read it for face value. All right, next card is 6, is the clouds. And what's interesting about this cloud card is you see how it's kind of raining? And what it says is the clouds block our vision, and this may signify confusion, complications, and uncertainty. No vista, obscured, unable to speak. So basically, no view, right? You can't see anything. Or express oneself, or confusion. Sometimes the storminess is even frightening and violent. Things to the right are obscured. Things to the left are revealed. Open, right? Clarity. But if it's on the left, it is in danger. Clouds also move. And so when you also read Lenormand, look at the position. Like somebody did a reading, it's on a Facebook group, and they asked a question where they had a stork, and the stork was going this direction here. And there was like something over here, like some movement or something like that. I forget what it was. And people were using the canned answers. But when I looked at the reading for them, I said, well, the problem you have is the change is moving away from your happiness. The change is moving away from, it was a ring, from your stability, your commitment, right? Because the stork was going that way. And that's very important. So where the cards lie with each other is important to the interpretation, okay? Next up is 7, the serpent. The coffin. I love this. I really enjoy this series of cards. 9 is the bouquet. Then we have the machete. Is that like the scythe or something? Yeah, traditionally the scythe. It cuts. That's it. It just cuts. The machete cuts. It's a tool of work. A dull machete makes hard work even more difficult. It could be risk, aggression, accident, criminality, cutting, sharp, surgeries, toil, deadlines. See, so all doesn't mean something bad, right? Skimming off the top, right? Like stealing something, right? Cutting. So they always have so many different meanings. So think about that. It also can mean to bring pain, because if you're trying to cut something that's dull, you have to hack at it, which is painful, time consuming, right? The machete. I'm going to keep the book handy just in case we see another card I want to look into real quick. The whip. Yep. What's interesting too about the whip is you see the 11 as intuition. That's the master number, and it's really around that spiritual connection. The 11 is also into intuition. And why I say that is because it's the high priestess amplified, the 2, right? You don't, in numerology, you don't reduce a master number. If you go to my website, again, wordoftwist.com, and go to my tarot library numerology, you can read up on this kind of stuff. I have a little ebook available as well you can check out. If you're a member, you can download it. If you're not, you also can pick it up on Etsy as well. I sell it over there if you're interested. So a whip is a tool used to strike animals or people to exert control, guidance, or compliance through pain or fear. Disagreements, arguments, anger, irritation, discord, and discipline. It usually begins with words as results in situations requiring some cleanup. Now, also in the traditional Lenormand, this could also be kind of sexual nature, like a whip, right? Kinky, things like that. So again, people have different ways of reading it. Use your intuition on how you want to read it. But like I'm saying, each deck is different. So just because the Bluebird deck here may say one thing, this deck here has different energy and different vibes. So you got to really look at the book, practice the spreads in the book, and look at the meanings, because it's going to give you a different way of rendering this card. Okay. Owls, which is a bird, so that's probably the communication card or chatty card. What do they have in here? Yeah, it's the birds. It's basically information, songs, chirps. To humans, the birds especially appear nervous. In the Pacific Northwest, owls hoot when it's going to rain, telling their friends that they should now come and eat. Since prey will run for cover in the rain, thus warnings. Orally related information, mouth to ear, phone calls, communication, nervousness, or gossiping. But here, when I look at the owl, I'm seeing more wisdom, right? El Nino, 13. That's the boy or the child. Yeah. The fox. See, and the fox gets a bad rap because, people say, like, oh my gosh, the fox is a shady card. Not really, because sometimes the fox takes the chicken from the hen house to feed its children. Think about that. So it's not always nefarious, even though it may look that way. Don't always judge things at face value, is what I'm kind of trying to say here. Nyx is the bear. Great bear card. Then we have the stars. See connections, the stars. That also could be communication, like internet, network in modern times, right? So it's saying the stars have been used by sailors to travel for years as a means of navigation. Focus, purpose, hopes, and dreams, the why of long term goals. If you have focus, you may create your own luck, as she will assist. The stars will assist. The light. I like that. Nyx is the stork. Change is coming. A change. And he is moving this direction. A friend. So, like, see, right, pairing it right. So, a friend is changing. Loyalty is changing. There's a change in loyalty. See, it's different how you read it. So, you read it from right to left. So, it's kind of like this is a change. What kind of a friend? This is a friend. What kind? Maybe a new one. See the difference there? It's subtle, but it's huge. Okay. Next, we have the tower. Now, tower is not the same as it is in tarot. Here, it's more like isolation or a prison or a building or something like that. It can even be a job. You're at the top of it looking down. It can mean different things depending on the question and the way it's laid out with other cards. Next, we have the garden. Social event. 10, 28, 8 and 2 is 10. Which is what? Something new can happen. New friendships, new communication, things like that. Next, we have the mountain. Mountains are trials. You have to overcome them, but you do overcome them. How? 3, communication, 21. See that? Creativity, think through how you're going to get over it. Smart communication. Next, we have the crossroads. Then the rats, the mice. They just eat everything. Decay. The heart. I like how the heart's in the skeleton. That's kind of cool. The ring. The book. Secrets are opened. Information's revealed. The letter. A message of some type. Isn't the color just beautiful too? The man. They give you 2 cards as equivalent for a male. It's funny too. Sometimes I just keep them both in the deck, but pick the one you like and take the other one out. If it's an older person, I guess it's the skeleton. If it's a younger person, it'd be this one. So if your customer or the person you're reading for is younger, maybe use this one here. Or maybe this one, if they're trying to ask a question about an older person, use that card. Oh, okay, the lady. That's cool. I like that. So 2 of these. Well, they are. I like that. Okay. Next, we have the lilies. This is like wisdom, age, long-term time. Okay, so now they're stuck. You see, I talked about that gummy stuff on the cards. Yeah, see that? Dang, I hate that. All right, so next card is the sun. This is like a mafia hit. Middle of the day, man. They ain't hiding nothing. Don't speak right. Your foundation's in the dirt. Okay. Next, we have the moon. This, boy, so sometimes I read this card, the moon, as mysterious or confusion or something like that. But also, this means like of renown. So, like something good. So again, it just depends on how you're reading that card. It really does. And so it's a 32. So again, when I read that card, right, I see a 3, which means communication is going to force decisions. And depending on which way it goes, it's going to be very good with a 5 or a horrible 5. That's your call. That's the decision that you have to actually end up making. Okay. Next, we have the key, which is usually success. Skeleton key, you can get in anything, right? The fish. This is usually in Lenormand a card of money. And if you had like the sun here, it'd be like money's coming into goodness because it's moving towards it. Um, if the sun was here, then the good times, the money's moving away, right? And so again, you have to pay attention to the actual position of the way things are moving. Also, blue, it's emotional because green grounds you into the earth. The anchor. Then we have last is the cross. And this card, boy, it's hard to say. Depending on how you're going to read with this card, this could mean like a sacrifice of some type, right? Something very heavy, carrying your cross, but also could mean a resurrection. So when I read in Tarot or Lenormand, I'm going to say something. I don't do this death stuff. People say, "Oh, you're going to die." Bullshit. All right? Don't do that with people, right? Everybody has free will, and I'm gonna go to something here. You know how people talk. I'm not gonna get too religious here, but predestination versus free will. There's a truth in both, and this is where they get it wrong. You're predestined when you were born, and you're predestined when you're going to die. That's been accounted for, and you can't change it. But what you can change, what happens in between. See, when you read tarot or someone's reading tarot for you, you have the ability to make a change. That's why when you ask questions around these cards, you never ask a definitive question. It's more like, let's say somebody said, well, does he love me? Well, that's yes or no. I don't know. The question would be more like, what's the possibility that he's attracted to me? Or what is it that makes him attracted to me? Something like that. And then you can say, well, he likes the fact that, just throwing this out there, right? That you always try, that no matter where you get into a struggle, you can rise from it. You always rise to greatness. You resurrect. And let's say this card is next to it. And you resurrect, and it gives you that stability that it really finds attractive. You're the anchor that can never be moved. See how that works? So when you read, think like that. Try to get people to ask questions where they're not yes or no's, they're more like open-ended questions. So let's go ahead and shuffle this real quick. Raise the camera up just a touch while I do that. And they're going to shuffle wonderful. Like I said, I've used it a couple times, not a lot, but I really enjoy this deck. So yeah, it's really nice. Shuffle's nice. Yep, I love it. Overhand. And they're small, so compare it to my Lenormand Bluebird deck, which is right here. It's a little bit bigger, so I'll lay it on top so you can see how the black edges, right? So it's a little bit bigger, not by much, but a little bit. And these have a gloss coating. These are more matte. And so I'm not going to do reading here today on these cards, but would I recommend these? Yeah, I would. So I would say if you're an avid Lenormand collector like I am and enjoy Lenormand, pick this deck up. You're not going to regret it. It's a really cool, wonderful, beautiful deck. And if there's anything you would like to see me cover more in my videos, tutorials, spread, whatever, let me know in the comments. Drop below and tell me, or even shoot me an email. Go to my website, hit the contact form, wordthetwist.com, and just say, hey, Kev, I'd like to see more of this or more of that or whatever. And if you haven't been to my site, check it out and sign up as a member, free or paid. That's your choice, because there's content that I give to the members, free or paid. It's not public, which is kind of a nice little added bonus, right? Anyway, until next time, I want to see you in my next videos. All right. Bye, everyone.